Good morning. Before I have to start, I have to say, how about now? I can just talk loud. Okay, check, where are you? Check. Better? All righty. So now I can say my heart is full. Good morning, good morning. Woo! As the Dean of the University of Colorado Law School, it is my very great honor and pleasure to welcome you to the 131st Annual Commencement Ceremony celebrating the class of 2026! Woo! I'd like to extend a special welcome to Chief Justice Monica Marquez, this year's Order of the Coif recipient, Marco Chayette, the Colorado Law Class of 1997 on behalf of the Law Alumni Board, Professor Helen Norton, who is this year's commencement speaker, and to Doug Goodfeather, who will offer a song. I am so deeply grateful to be here and to see the commencement of our 2026 JD, LLM, and MLS students. Today is an extraordinary culmination of your journey. I'm now in my 5th year in this role as dean and my 33rd year in academia, and it still feels like I just got here. That span of time has taught me so much about the challenges of higher education, about continuity and change, and about the enduring promise of law. I want to tell you just a little bit about myself. On my mother's side, I'm a multi-generational Californian, and I was born in Los Angeles. Who's from California here? Woo! On my father's side, I am an historic Coloradan, descendant from an ancestor who came here after his service in the U.S. Civil War. I'm also a first-generation college and law school attendee and the first person in my family to experience a regular K-12 education. I am here to tell you that law matters. I am here to tell you also that in my work as a law professor, before ascending to this position, I was a legal historian, and I am someone who therefore looks backwards in order to look forward. And I will tell you, therefore, that I make my brief remarks this morning by looking backwards to the orientation remarks that I offered to the incoming class this year. I do that because it is meaningful in order to see where we are standing, to look backwards, ushering that class in, and to look forward, sending you out the door. And as I do that, I really must say, because I would be failing if I did not say, the world that you are entering is not an easy one. This is a time of profound challenge to democratic institutions, to the rule of law, to the independence of our profession, and there is real uncertainty about the direction of our country and our courts. The climate for legal advocates committed to justice, equity, and the Constitution is, in some respects, harder than it has ever been. I do not ask you, graduates, to look away from that. Instead, I ask you to look directly at it and to step into it and to know that every skill you carry out of this place means that you are prepared to meet those challenges. So today, I want to offer you a few words to send you forward. 3 words that started my orientation speech to the entering class this fall. They are more than abstractions: agility, engagement, and resilience. Let's talk about agility. Now, that sounds like something that you would have if you are at least a pretty good athlete, which I have never been, but I enjoy it nonetheless. But agility is more than just being able to move quickly and fast. It is being able to shift with politics, with technology, with culture, with human need. You've spent your time here learning to navigate great complexity, and at the same time remembering where you came from and what you brought with you. Agility does not mean having the answers, and it doesn't mean bending with every breeze. It means developing intellectually and emotionally so that you have the flexibility to adapt, to think critically in new situations. Second, a few words about engagement. That was never optional here at Colorado Law, and it won't be optional out in the world. Working from your own perspectives, you committed yourselves while you were here to collective intellectual and social life that is so vital to this school, and that engagement is why you are seated here today. Note that engagement does not mean following blindly. It doesn't mean behaving as others want you to, though I know that that can be tempting. It is forging relationships that are mutually respectful and mutually appreciative of each other. Because after all, the law is about those relationships between people, between institutions, and between power and justice. Engagement also means listening, especially to those with different experiences. And then the third word, resilience. Many of you have heard me talk about resilience, and I have to say that I have a love-hate relationship with that word. I have mixed feelings because sometimes I fear that it may imply that those who suffer hardship of any sort should just pull themselves up by their bootstraps and deal with any problem they encounter, ignoring the fact that there are often external or systemic forces that are the cause of the hardship. This is certainly the problem with resilience. So I won't tell you here today to ignore obstacles or challenges. I will tell you, however, that it is vital to understand the source of barriers, but that may go hand in hand with or be superseded by the need to keep forward to grasp your goals. My late mother, who was probably my greatest source of good counsel, used to say, there is no shame in weeping or even whining when you meet hard times. You are allowed, and you should express emotions like pain and frustration, but after the weeping and the whining, my mother said very simply one word: work. I hated it when she said that, but she was so right. Pause, redefine, reflect, mourn when you must, and then work. Many years ago, at the very beginning of my law teaching career, I served as a clinical professor in immigration law. My docket was filled with people seeking political asylum, most of whom were from Haiti. By the time I had met my clients, many of them had endured unimaginable suffering, violence, persecution, the constant shadow of danger. I was therefore struck by how they carried themselves with extraordinary optimism and persistence. This was captured in a Haitian Creole conversational exchange I frequently shared with them in my limited knowledge of Creole. When I would ask, "How are you? Sak passe?" they would say, "M'la." It means, in its simplest terms, I'm here. It also stands for I am existing, I am putting in the effort, I am getting the essential work done to go forward. That phrase has never left me. M'la is resilience distilled to its essence. It is standing fast, it is doing the work, and no matter how daunting the obstacles, do the work because the goal is worthy. And so let me close with this thought. Always work to be the author of your own story, even as others may try to define you. Define who you are and what you will become. I leave you, therefore, with these three words: agility, engagement, resilience. Let them guide you. And finally, write your own story. And then I have to say once again, congratulations, class of 2026. Woo! We are so very proud of you. And before I turn the stage over to Doug Goodfeather for a song, I will share with you our land acknowledgement. As we gather, we honor and acknowledge that the University of Colorado Law School is on the traditional territories and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and the Ute peoples. Further, we acknowledge the 48 contemporary tribal nations historically tied to the lands that comprise what is now Colorado. In doing so, we celebrate the diversity among us, celebrating the First People. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Doug Goodfeather, Hunkpapa Lakota from the Standing Rock Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota Nation of South and North Dakota. Please stand for his song as you are able.
Congratulations to all of you. This is a song of how to be a warrior. And because warriors don't see division, because we make the oath only to the Creator. We don't make an oath to no man or no human. So that holds us truth in our perseverance and walk of life. So take that truth and walk forward, because people are going to depend on you. And so remember that. These words, this culture, this song, this drum, is going to remind you in the future when you come to a crossroads or a test that every decision dictates your future. So make the right ones. And we're also very proud of you. Take courage and walk forward in life. Remember, my grandma used to say, somebody's always watching you and nothing's wasted. So always see the future and see good in all life. And take courage. Mitaku yasi. Thank you.
Bienvenidos a todos. Mi nombre es Violeta Chapin. Soy una profesora de leyes aquí en la Universidad de Colorado y todos estamos muy felices y muy orgullosos que nuestros estudiantes se están graduando hoy. Nosotros sabemos que todos los graduados aquí han tenido éxito en su vida con la ayuda, el apoyo y el amor que sus familias y amigos les han dado. Mil gracias a todas las mamás, los papás, los abuelos, los hermanos y hermanas, los primos, los vecinos, todos aquí que han caminado juntos con nuestros estudiantes en este viaje. Tienen el mundo frente a ellos y hoy lo vamos a celebrar. Gracias y otra vez, bienvenidos.
Good morning. I'm Blake Reed. Let me join Professor Chapin and the entire faculty and staff in welcoming you to celebrate the class of 2026. Now, to our graduates, I'm just a warm-up act, but I've got good news for you. Some amazing headliners are yet to come, so please help me make some noise for your class officers and the one and only Helen Norton. All right, first, my privilege to recognize your academic excellence. Law school is not easy, and we are so proud of each of you. To those of you with perseverance cords, we see you, we appreciate your efforts. And to all of your family members and friends, thank you for supporting our graduates. And we study law not just in the abstract, but to understand how it shapes the lives of our families and our friends and our neighbors to help us envision a better world. We appoint graduates whose grades rank in the top 10% of the class to the Order of the Coif for their contributions towards that vision in the classroom until grades are finalized, and I promise we are working on it. We recognize graduates in the top 15% of the class after the fall semester. There are 25 wonderful folks who are noted in your program as candidates for membership in the Order. Please join me in congratulating them. And to all of our graduates, the Order is also a reminder of the excellence we know each of you can and will aspire to in your careers and in your practice. And we appoint an honorary member of the Order each year who demonstrates that excellence in their practice. Now, you may remember that this year's honorary member spoke to you on your very first day of orientation in law school. She may not have told you that while growing up, her true aspiration was not to be a lawyer, but was actually to fly an X-Wing and to become a Jedi Knight. True story. She's not yet flown to a galaxy far, far away, but she now wears a robe befitting a Jedi as the Chief Justice of the Colorado Supreme Court. Monica Marquez started her career as an inner-city school teacher, working through many years of clerkships, litigation, and appellate practice, including at the Colorado Attorney General's office. In more than 15 years of service as Justice and now Chief Justice, she has sought to build public trust in the rule of law by carefully, urgently, and fairly doing the court's work every day with a commitment to the same intellectual rigor that you bring to the classroom. Chief Justice Marquez also knows that public trust in the legal system depends on representation of people from all walks of life. And to support those following in her footsteps, she has served on the boards of the Colorado LGBT Bar Association and Hispanic Bar Association. Since becoming the first Latina justice in the court's history, she has chaired the court's task force on lawyer well-being, co-led the Bench Dream Team, judges dedicated to inclusion in Colorado's judicial system, and mentored aspiring lawyers in the law school Yes We Can program. A wise jurist once said, "Do or do not, there is no try." For a career of not just trying, but of tirelessly doing rigor and representation in practice, please join me in welcoming Chief Justice Monica Marquez to Colorado Law's Order of the Coif.
Thank you, Professor Reed. Thank you, Dean Inniss. And thank you, CU Law, for this tremendous honor. I am deeply grateful. It's a joy and a privilege to stand before you today as Colorado's Chief Justice. I'm a kid from Grand Junction with roots in the San Luis Valley, and this is something I never would have dreamed of in a million years. So thank you, and congratulations, felicidades to all of you. My nearly 30-year career in this profession has been, wow, it's been an unforgettable journey. It's been filled with amazing highs, my fair share of devastating lows, and a whole lot of hard-earned growth in between. Every one of these gray hairs that has sprouted since I joined the court has a case number. This whole new patch on this side, this is all the legislative bills I've had to deal with this session as chief. So I've got more to go, but we're working on it. Mostly, I stand here filled with gratitude. I know I stand on the shoulders of so many who came before me. My ancestors from the San Luis Valley, including a whole lot of fierce abuelitas and tías and primas who remind me every day that La Familia Marquez es dura. We are tough. I know I stand on the shoulders of courageous members of the LGBT community who blazed trails long before me, who allowed me to now blaze trails for others. And of course, I stand on the shoulders of my amazing parents and my sister who taught me resilience and a deep love for Colorado. Today, you all walk away armed with a degree and an education that no one can take from you. And my hope and wish for all of you is that you use these gifts to make the world a better place. Doing that, in addition to agility and resilience and all that you heard Dean Inniss speak about, it's going to require courage. At some point in your career, and likely more than once, you will find yourself at a crossroads. And I'm talking about those moments in life that force you to confront whether you've got it in you to make the intellectually honest decision, to take the ethical path, to do the right thing, even if it costs you personally. Some of you may face those crossroads very publicly as leaders with a whole lot of eyes watching you. But all of you will inevitably face the quiet, daily acts of courage that never make the headlines. I'm talking about the courage to continue when you are exhausted. I'm talking about the courage to speak uncomfortable truths and doing that with integrity. I'm talking about carving a path forward where there might not be a map to follow. Those moments can be terrifying, but embrace them because they are gifts. It is those moments that you will discover what you are actually capable of. So what's the secret when you come to those moments? I will tell you, after 30 years, there's not a lot of magic to it. Really, it's about showing up. So show up. Show up with integrity. Show up with humility, recognizing there is always room to grow and to learn. I do that every day, continue to learn. Always a Jedi, always a Padawan, apparently. But every day matters. Every encounter that you have matters. And so remember that it's those small daily acts of courage that are going to build the reserves that you will need the day you meet that crossroads. For today, though, just breathe. Be present. Soak in this incredible morning, this incredible experience. Soak in today. And take time, please, to honor the people in your life who helped you get here. because somewhere in this room or in spirit, somebody here believed in you, somebody fed you late at night, somebody cheered you on or talked you off a ledge or simply put up with you and all your stress over the last 3 years. Anybody want to raise their hand out there? So can we honor them today and give them... Show them today how much you appreciate them. Class of 2026, as you head out into the world, take care of each other. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves. Our profession needs you. Our democracy needs you. So show up. Congratulations and welcome to the profession.
Thank you so much, Chief Justice. And she's right. Hello, my name is Helen Boone, and I'm the treasurer for the class of 2026. I want to start by thanking our amazing friends, family, and faculty for taking the time to celebrate this exciting moment. And you, my fellow graduates, for taking the time to stop and appreciate all of the work you put into getting here. Today, the officers want to reflect on who we are as a class, as future lawyers, but also as a community. Together, we've answered midnight texts about the next morning's class readings. We've agreed to sing backup for karaoke at the Dark Horse. We've kept each other company for quick coffee walks, fully aware we'd already hit our 3-cup daily limit. We've smiled with pride at classmates who killed a cold call on a case we know they didn't read. We've taught each other how to fish, ski, birdwatch, but most importantly, how to cite political tweets using proper Blue Book format. We've put up with each other for 3 long years. This is a group of people who will always go out of their way to lift you up. So take a moment today and thank the people sitting next to you. We truly could not have done this alone. So thank you. And now, my dear friend, Gabriel Lenz.
Thank you, Helen. Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel Lenz, and I've been beyond proud to serve this wonderful class as vice president for the last couple of years. These last 3 years have been filled with not only the unknown, immense hardships, incredible amounts of work, late night, and way too early deadlines, but also wonder, lifelong friendships, and exploring our passions. We all came to Wolf Law, this wonderful law school, for a reason. Whatever that reason was, each one of us made this school our own, and we got through it side by side, just as we are today. I'm beyond thankful for this wonderful community that has and continues to flourish and uplift each and every one of us. This short little speech will never be enough to express my gratitude. But I know everyone is walking away with the fire forever ignited by CU's law students, faculty, and staff. May it burn brightly forever. And now to introduce our wonderful class president, Mary Elizabeth Barrow.
Thank you, Gabriel. 3 years ago, we walked through the doors of Wolf Law as eager students. Today, we will walk out as lawyers. That subtle shift, that single word, means more than any of us fully understood when we chose this path. Lawyer. It means something. It's always meant something. It means that because of those in this room, somewhere out there, a person who has no one will have someone. It means that power is not the only thing with a voice in the room. It means that when someone's freedom is on the line, a family is being torn apart, or someone is told that their dignity does not count, there will be someone in that room who says, "It does, and I can prove it." That is what we are uniquely positioned to do. The law is one of the few tools ever devised that can stand in between an individual and everything arrayed against them. We are now its practitioners. We have been trained to wield it with both precision and purpose, not just to win arguments, but to serve people. Justice and human dignity are not self-enforcing concepts. Somebody has to show up for them. That is now our job. We came here by different roads. Some of us knew as children that this was our calling. Others saw injustice up close and decided that we were done watching. Some of us took detours, other careers, other cities, other lives. But each of our journeys brought us to this moment. And now, as we each walk across the stage, we begin the relentless, the humbling, the necessary pursuit of justice. But before we take the first steps of our next journey, I ask that we take another moment to look back at the parents who sacrificed quietly so we could argue loudly, at the teachers who honed our minds before we knew what we would use them for, at the partners, the friends, the siblings who held things together while we held stacks upon stacks of casebooks. They didn't just support us, they made us possible. Those sacrifices are an immense privilege, one that we will carry with us into every courtroom, every client meeting, every hard phone call. We must be worthy of them, not just today, but every day that this profession asks something difficult of us. The law is not a destination, it's a practice, which means that you never stop getting better, never stop refining, never stop reaching towards what justice looks like for an actual living, breathing human, not just in theory. Today, that practice begins. Congratulations, Colorado Law Class of 2026. It's now my honor to introduce our LLM president, Eche Galerman.
Oh, wow. Good morning, everyone. It is a true honor to stand before you today. As the president of the LLM program, I have the honor of representing a very nice part of a law school community. But this moment is larger than one program. Today, we celebrate every graduate here, whose work and persistence brought them today. What makes a law school community powerful is not that we all share the same story. It is that we do not. We come from different places, different backgrounds, and different legal traditions. I came here from Turkey, and that experience has reminded me that the study of law is never only about mastering the rules. It is also about learning how to live, think, and work alongside people whose experiences may be very different than our own. That is one of the greatest strengths of legal education. It teaches us that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Larger than one classroom, one faculty, one city, or even one country. There's a saying by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, founder of modern Turkey, that I keep returning to. Leave aside the words of praise. Tell me what we will do for the future. That feels especially fitting today. Graduation invites celebration, but it also asks something from us. What kind of lawyers will we be? What kind of judgment will we carry into the world? Whatever path we take next, I hope we carry that sense of responsibility with us. Not only ambition, but judgment. Not only knowledge, but integrity. Not only the ability to argue, but the wisdom to listen. This morning marks an achievement we should be proud of. Not only it also, but it also marks a beginning. We leave this place not just with degrees, but with the opportunity and obligation to use what we've learned in service of something beyond ourselves. Congratulations, class of 2026, and thank you. I'd like to now introduce the MSL speaker, Crystal Mendoza, to deliver her speech.
Good morning, students, families, and distinguished faculty. Today we celebrate the end of this journey where I got to meet amazing people that are chasing similar dreams as mine, and although we stand at different points in our lives, we came here for the same purpose. Compliance is a relatively new and growing field. It goes beyond creating a document and having every employee read it. It is the enforcement from leadership that is empowering employees towards ethical behavior, the tone from the top. Lawyers and compliance professionals are distinct roles that are sometimes confused. A lawyer seeks to protect their client's best interest, while a compliance professional's duty is focused on the best interest of a company. Though such differences exist, both parties are not enemies and often work together. Consider the following. Lawyers are focused more on legal liability, while compliance professionals focuses more on prevention. Refer back to the comprehensive approach that we learned, preventing, detecting, and correcting. Compliance professionals are also known as the guardians of integrity, given the nature of responsibility for maintaining the virtuousness of a company. Integrity is an essential element of trust, upholding and building trust as we foster a proactive environment that ensures a successful business where employees will gladly show up every day and be confident enough to report any wrongdoing. As I approach time here, I want to share a quick memory. My first ever college visit was here in Boulder campus as a fourth grader. I ironically said I would one day return here and be a student, and as I did, I completed my undergraduate studies here, and now I get to walk with a master's degree. An honor and privilege it is to fulfill my dreams and proudly join the 8% of Latinas with a master's degree. Graduates, we embarked this journey with a purpose and now leave to be leaders that don't just read and write rules, instead we embody them. We will become the change we want to see in the world. Congratulations, class of 2026, and thank you. I would like to now introduce Class Secretary Miles McClendon.
Hey, y'all. My name is Miles McClendon, and I had the honor of serving as the class secretary for the CU Law class of 2026. Today, I have the great privilege to introduce our fantastic keynote speaker, Professor Helen Norton. Helen Norton is a university distinguished professor and Roth Gerber Chair of Constitutional Law at the University of Colorado School of Law. Her scholarly interests include anti-discrimination, constitutional law, and she has a particular emphasis on the First Amendment and equal protection. Unsurprisingly, Professor Norton has been honored with the Excellence in Teaching Award on several occasions and was appointed as a University of Colorado Presidential Teaching Scholar. But her titles and awards don't tell the full story. Professor Norton was selected by our class to be the keynote speaker because of her integrity, knowledge, and passion to teach anyone who had the privilege to take one of her classes. I know personally, I was told by multiple members of this class that I had to take a class taught by Professor Norton before I graduated law school. Such is her reputation as a teacher and a scholar within our class. And when I did get to see Professor Norton's fantastic teaching, I got to see how she taught students to think critically, ask questions, and connect difficult concepts to real-world issues. It is truly an honor to introduce such a distinguished scholar. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Professor Helen Norton.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk with you today. What a fantastic invitation. As you are experiencing right now, graduations are doubly joyful. We're celebrating the completion of your formal legal education, and we're looking forward to the next stage of your lives. So ours is a moment of celebration and excitement and joy, looking both backward and forward at the same time. And that means this moment can be bittersweet too, because we're marking endings as well as beginnings. To further complicate the experience, this is not only a time of excitement and joy, but as you all know better than anyone, it is a time of uncertainty and challenge on multiple fronts. So this is a time, an event, a moment that requires many of us to hold multiple ideas and thoughts and emotions in our heads at the same time, even though they're in some tension with each other. Joy and celebration and excitement and wistfulness and uncertainty, maybe even some sadness or worry. What I'd like to talk with you about for just a few minutes is how we might deal with these tensions, how we might deal with these complications. More specifically, what does it mean to make a life, including a lawyer's life, in times of such uncertainty? How do we live and work bravely in a time of complexity and challenge? I know that many of you are asking yourselves these questions. And these are the sorts of questions I'm asking myself as well. And I know that many of my colleagues are asking themselves these questions too. A philosopher named Mara van der Lugt suggests that optimism and pessimism describe the character of our predictions about the direction the future might take. Some of us may evaluate the available evidence such that it is to describe that future in more positive or instead more negative terms. And some of us may be predisposed, maybe as a matter of personality, to describe that future in more positive or instead more negative terms. Either way, we don't know which prediction is going to be more accurate. What we do know for sure, regardless of whether our predictions are optimistic or pessimistic, what we do know for sure is that the future is uncertain. It's open. And we can't change, we can't resolve that uncertainty. What remains is our choice of what to do, how to react in the face of uncertainty, with action and engagement, or instead with resignation or withdrawal or passivity. Van der Lugt, the philosopher, thus describes hope as something very different from optimism or pessimism. She describes hope instead as the considered choice to act and engage in the face of uncertainty. She calls this the choice to strive for change without certainty, the choice to act without expecting anything other than we've done what we were called to do as moral agents in a time of change and uncertainty, as our time certainly is. Every day we decide how and on what to spend our time. This is among our most important choices, and we make it anew every hour, every day. The one power we retain is the power to choose how we respond to our experience, our power to choose how to respond to any given situation. We can control our response. We can control our effort. We can control our patience. We can control our compassion. Of course, just because we can control these things, just because we can control our effort or our patience or our compassion, doesn't mean that they're always easy to control. And this can especially be the case when we're tired, or we're sad, or we're hurt, or we're worried. After one of the greatest careers in the history of sports, tennis player Roger Federer observed that he won 54% of the points that he played over his career. In other words, he observed that he lost almost as many points as he won. And his point was that he had to anticipate the possibility of setback in every point he played and how he would respond to the setback that was sure to come. Setbacks happen. Sometimes the external world delivers us setbacks outside of our control. Sometimes we may contribute to our setbacks ourselves. Sometimes we may feel that our own response somehow has fallen short of what we expect ourselves. We should anticipate this, and we can recognize that each setback is a reminder that we have the choice to hope. We have the choice to re-engage and start anew. A few months ago, I gave a talk at the University of Alabama's Law School, and I decided to stay in Alabama over the weekend to visit some of the sites memorializing the history of the civil rights movement in Selma and in Montgomery, among other places. And my visit to Selma, in particular, stuck with me, and I've been thinking about it a lot since then. As you may recall, on a spring day in 1965, 600 folks started out from Selma, intending to undertake a 54-mile march along the state highway that ran from Selma to the state's capital in Montgomery. And they had been waging a long-standing, but at that time unsuccessful effort to convince local officials to allow Selma's black citizens to register to vote. So the march's purpose was to protest, to bring attention to black persons' lack of meaningful voting rights in Alabama and elsewhere in the United States. Led by Amelia Boynton Robinson and John Lewis, among many others, the marchers were not wealthy by any means, nor were they politically powerful in any traditional sense. And yet they marched, challenging decades, generations, centuries of injustice. The beginning of that march called for them to set out across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, which marks the beginning of the state highway that runs from Selma on the road to Montgomery. Seeing that bridge in person a few months ago and walking up that bridge myself made clear to me what had not been clear in the photos that I had seen. That bridge has a remarkably high and steep crown. The center of the bridge is much higher than either end. And the slope from each end to that apex is unusually steep. This means that when you start out at one end of the bridge, you can't see what's at the other end. You have no idea what's there. And even as you near the very top, you still can't see yet what's on the other side. This was a very stark visual representation of how even the very immediate future remains unknown, remains uncertain. They chose to walk on, despite that uncertainty. They walked on without knowing what awaited them a couple hundred yards away, much less what awaited them days and months and years ahead. And what did they see when they got to the top of that bridge? Hundreds of folks with billy clubs and tear gas waiting for them at the other end. And they walked on. They continued down the bridge, where they were attacked and beaten and chased and driven back to town. A setback, at the very least. And yet, they chose to engage again, to act in the face of uncertainty, although they may well have been very pessimistic about what the future might bring. The law plays a role in the story too. Their lawyers then sought and received an injunction to protect their right to march free from obstruction. And 2 weeks later, they set off again to walk across that bridge. And after a 4-day march along that 55-mile stretch of highway, a march that itself was marked by deadly violence, they walked up the steps of the Montgomery Capitol while the nation watched. By the end of the summer, the Voting Rights Act had become law. Of course, this story remains complicated. Today, as then, Selma still has among the highest poverty rates in the country. And our nation's work to achieve equality is not yet finished. But what I want to emphasize today, what I continue to think about, because it gives me inspiration and it gives me solace, is the choice those folks made when they started out at the bridge. In the face of uncertainty, they chose to engage, they chose to act. And I also continue to think about the choice they later made in the face of great setback, the choice to reset, and sometimes the choice to reset means you fall back for a bit, but the choice to reset, re-engage, and act again. I don't know if those folks were optimistic or pessimistic. The future was uncertain, even grim. My guess is that some of the marchers were optimistic and some of them were pessimistic. But for sure, their choice was hopeful. To use Mara van der Leek's term, they chose to act. They chose to try to achieve a result that was good and possible, although the outcome was entirely uncertain. And they recognized the importance, maybe the moral necessity, of action in the face of uncertainty without any assurance of success. The way the world is today, with its complexity and challenge, is not the way it always has been, and the way the world is today is not the way it always will be. And as some of you have heard me say, when we study the law, one of the things we're trying to do is understand the law as it is, and sometimes, often, that requires us to understand the law as it has been. And we also study the law in order to understand and to imagine the law as it could be. The future is uncertain. The future is open, and we retain the choice to engage, to act, with the aim of affecting that future. Today, we're not celebrating any experience. We're not celebrating just any transition. We're celebrating your specific experience of graduating with a law degree and entering a career in, or maybe adjacent to, the law. And as you've seen throughout your law school career, justice requires a recognition of and attention to complexity. Different facts demand different outcomes. Vengeance may be tempered with mercy. Simplistic or knee-jerk reactions may feel good, but may not always do good. Democracies, as you know from con law, engage the fundamentally human and necessarily complicated question of how do we live together when we so often disagree about the best way to live. Law, ideally, aspirationally, offers a way to manage this tension, to agree to commit ourselves to the rule of law, to agree to commit ourselves to principled and reasoned and peaceful ways of resolving our disagreements. That's the hope. For these reasons, as lawyer and law professor Brian Stevenson tells us, hopelessness, in other words, the choice of resignation or withdrawal in the face of uncertainty, hopelessness is the enemy of justice. Nobody can do everything, nor should they try. Everybody can do something. And that's especially, but not only, but that's especially true of lawyers. Lawyers play a unique role in a democracy. Lawyers have unique skills and contributions to offer. We have so many opportunities to act, so many opportunities to choose to engage in the face of uncertainty, so many opportunities to re-engage in response to setback. As you consider those opportunities over the course of your career, one last suggestion. There's a balance to which many of us aspire, but it's a challenge, but it's worth aspiring to try to take our work deeply seriously, to take our relationships, individual, family, community, to take those relationships deeply seriously, but ourselves, not so much. We're so proud of you. We're so impressed with you. We're so happy with you. Congratulations.
And now, members of the audience, the time we've been waiting for, the recognition of our graduates.
Thank you, Dean Inniss. Good morning. We will start the hooding of our class officers and banner bearers, then the LLM graduates, then the JD graduates, followed by our MSL graduates. Please come forward row by row and hand me your name card. Once the person in front of you is hooded, please walk to the center of the stage to be hooded, then continue walking to be congratulated by Dean Inniss and to receive your symbolic diploma. Mary Elizabeth Barrow. Helen Elizabeth Boone. Gabriel Eric Lenz. Crystal Mendoza. Miles Jordan McClendon. Isaac Olukunle Ongandare. Isabel Grace Bowen. We will now begin hooding our LLM candidates. Eche Gulerman. Juhazan Zaib Ahmad Makbul. Vishva Behel. Iñaki Barrera Fernandez. Juliana Blakely. Renata Castanjo. Mark Chiovini. Tyler Joseph Eckbach. Oda Fargelli. Carolini Fiat da Costa. Mary Elizabeth Fofana. Nicholas Victor Krusch. Ana Cristina Lopez. Nidhi Mathur. Andres Santander. Jordanka Rusanova Stereva. Bruna Lima Turnipseed. We will now begin hooding our JD candidates. Tyson Agla. Kaylin Marie Aldridge. Matthew Ernest Alexander. Maria Vianney Almaguer. Andrew Cleo Jude Almeida. Patricia Joyce Alquisa. Santana Noemi Andazola. Nolan Connor Anderson. Tom E. Anderson. Cameron Rachel Anderson. Devin Michael Askew. Kerouac Son Aubrey. Sarah Nicole Baldwin. Ryan Joseph Bannon. Solomon Beers Ariel. Heather Marie Birdsong. Emily Esther Bladorn. Elizabeth Margaret Bohinski. Jamie Nicole Browning. Grace Shelburne Burchett. Camila Maria Calderon. Emily Grace Calvin. Hannah Elise Cardozo. Sofia Isabella Carrillo. Thomas Arthur Carroll. Anna Chadwick. Veronica Kit Chapman. Orlandi Belladant. Katrina Rose Chavez. Anna Jane Citron. Madeline Rose Clark. Nell Charlotte Clasby. Helen Crawford. Emily Margaret Derenbacher. Lucas Paul DeVoe. M.R. Dickey. Ashlyn Dickmeyer. Madison Joe Dobson. Elodie Elise Dodge. Robert Edward Draper. Lauren Madison Dunn. Madeline Marie Dwyer. Rhodes Evans. Michael A. Farrington. Shannon Marie Fetchner. Finn L. Fehrenbach. Robert Stephen Feit III. Nicholas Alexander Floyd. Ray Franz Gilmore. Colleen Elizabeth Garcia. Jessica Maria Garcia Medina. Julia Grace Gessert. Zoe Leonore Gleppa. Connor Patrick Hagan. Nicholas Paul Hagestad. Andrew Luis Hanger. Mariella Isabel Sepulveda Hollins. Samuel Douglas Hodgen Hawkinson. Steve Lazaro Herlihy. Ainsley Elaine Hill. David Griffin Hinton. Olivia Elizabeth Himowitz. Emily May Jimenez. Lance Keeble. Jonathan Paul Coriati. Hannah Meredith Carrig Cressy. Victor Michael Lodano. Ruby Lee. Ryan Leonarchek. Grace Zanara Laterno. Skylar Lewis. Adam Leor Cole. Hannah Marie Loisel. Abigail K. Lutke. Victoria Lee Matson. Kathleen Michael McClellan. Kat Julia McCoy. Aiden Foster Meadows. Ashley Cameron Meek. Abby Z. Meyer. Corinne Migliazza. Casey Minifield. Ryan Patrick Monahan. Megan Elizabeth Mooney. Alina Mueller. Micaiah Janice Mullins. Samuel Austin Nagel. Olivia Joy Nassiter. Alyssa Kate Navarro. Eric Nicholson. Mia Christine Olivas. Roisin Ina O'Neill. Julia Jean O'Rourke. Andrew Philip Osgood. Olivia Grace Polizzi. Gabriella Deanne Pantoja. James Robert Paris. Hunter William Parnell. Emma Serena Pettit. Emma Noctrang Pham. Natalie May Phillips. Rachel Johanna Pittman Coco. Sydney Ashton Pope. Mackenzie Jane Porter. Hannah Christine Powell. Matt Price. Catherine Amelia Percival. Logan Rah Rajendran. Evan Yen Rao. Adam Rennie. Zane Reynolds. Haley Ann Rimmer. Patricia Daniela Rivera Gill. Matthew William Runis. David Gunnar Roos. Nick Salazar. Samantha Eldry Salter. Amy Lynn Schneider. Lex Renee Schwartzman. Kelly Mae Scott. Olivia Pearl Sharp. Andrea Megan Shipton. Jonathan Anthony School. JJ Slatkin. Corbin Gerald Smart. Michael Matthew Smith III. Morgan Ann Smith. Jessica Lynn Sneesby. Abigail Grace Souter. Haley Elizabeth Sprague. Joshua Andrew Stallworth. Savannah Heath Stewart. Mallory Fern Stick. E. Anona Stryker. Jack Christopher Strong. Lillian Catherine Sullivan. Vicente Andrew Tapia. Zachary Dean Thompson. Alexandra Me Sun Valentine. Matthew Allen Van Wert. Jonathan Eric Vasquez. Macarena Villagomez Tapia. Olivia Vicio. Mikhail Keeley Walker. Stephen Cole Wheeler. Matthew Stephen Wilkinson. Oliver Parkhill Willett. Cleo Elizabeth Williams. Hannah Marie Wolf. Emma Lucille Walters. Emma Rebecca Reed. Matthew Hunter Yeager. Clara Bailey Yardley. We will now begin hooding our MSL candidates. Dominic Alexander Barreto. Alejandra Jimenez de Mendez. Luis Carlos Lincoln. Evelyn Angelica Ontiveros. Linnea Marie Chessman Smith. Eric Matthew Stanek. Tu Chen. Congratulations.
Congratulations, graduates. I would now like to call to the stage Law Alumni Board Member Marco Chayette to welcome our graduates to the alumni community.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations. One more speech. My name is Marco Chayette. I'm a proud double buff, graduating in '94, and from our law school in 1997. I loved my time here at Colorado Law, and I hope you did as well. This is the place where I forged some of my deepest relationships with my fellow classmates, who are still to this day my closest friends, colleagues, and my partners in law and life. And today, I have the great honor of representing your alumni board and the almost 9,000 graduates of our law school. You're now and forever alumni of the University of Colorado School of Law. I want to remind all of you about something that you may have not paid much attention to, but that you passed every day as you entered the law school. There's a very purposeful plaque written by my late brother to honor the dedication of the Wolf Law Building for our grandparents. I believe these words should resonate even more for all of you today as you embark on your next chapter with your Colorado law degree in hand. The inscription as you walk into our law school reads, "It has been the dream of the world to seek this nation's liberties. It has been the dream of this nation to provide these liberties under the law. Let those who dream of liberty and law enter here and learn." Law school is no longer a dream. You entered, you learned, and you made it to today. So, welcome to our profession that demands both intellect and empathy. Carry the lessons you learned here, but be willing to learn new ones. You will use your new skills to serve others, whether it be in the courtroom, the boardroom, or throughout society as a whole. Please make sure to keep your integrity intact, and remember that your reputation is your most valuable asset. You will soon see that your success is defined by the lives you positively impact, not just the accolades you will surely accumulate. So, as graduates of Colorado Law, class of 2026, and on behalf of the Law Alumni Board, let me officially welcome you to our strong network of Colorado Law alumni. You now have the tools to continue the long-standing tradition of Colorado alums who have made a difference in this world, and the list is quite long and impressive. Along your journey, spread the word far and wide about Colorado law, and please know that we alums will always be here for you. Just seek us out. I also strongly encourage you to stay engaged with your Colorado law family. Please come back. Please participate in alumni events, continuing education, and all of the other opportunities to stay in touch and support your law school. Congratulations, you did it.
And now, graduates, comes the end. I will send you out the door with the Sears charge, which was written to our JD graduates, but is meant in spirit to all of our graduates. And it is this: you now have received the Juris Doctor degree. Please do not take undue pride in this title, for in the final analysis, the test of your professional fitness will lie not in your title, but rather in your service to society and in the extent to which you combine professional skills with humane concern, legal learning with intense integrity, great energy with high ideals. What kind of lawyer you will be depends in large part on the kind of person you are. I hope you may continue to grow and that, in the years to come, you will live the most challenging life of all, the life of the mind, the life of service. To you all, we wish great success in your chosen profession. And with that, we conclude our ceremony today. Thank you all.